Hello and welcome back to another Wellness Tuesday with me, Opoluwa. It's great to be back on. I was not here last week because of my travels, but I'm excited to be right back on to share a few tips on my heart. Now, since we are still in Women's Month, I am going to continue with my videos on estrogen dominance, a form of hormonal imbalance. Now, I've explained what estrogen dominance is before in other videos and even in my posts. It's said to occur when there's too much estrogen in the body relative to other hormones, especially progesterone. So there's too much estrogen up there and there's progesterone down there. Now, this imbalance can lead to a variety of symptoms, many of which I experienced, which I suffered years ago. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not talking from head knowledge, I'm talking from what I experienced and went through. So let me dive deep into this now. Now, this may include symptoms like weight gain. I gained weight around my hips, my waist, and my thighs. So those are the three key areas where you gain weight when there's estrogen dominance. So my hips got wider, my waist got bigger, and my thighs got fatter. The next one is mood swings. This may include things like anxiety or irritability or depression. You just find yourself irritable. I remember I used to get all teary at little things or big triggers, and I would just be irritable. I just wanted to lash out. The third one I will talk about is irregular menstrual cycles. This includes heavy bleeding or irregular periods. Now, heavy periods can be so uncomfortable and inconvenient. I had to wear black trousers during my periods, and I had to put on wads or sanitary pads just to prevent me from getting stained. Now, talk of irregular periods, it was the order of the day for me. Sometimes it will be 28 days, sometimes it will be 40 days. I went through that. The next one is breast changes. There will be tenderness, swelling of, there could even be fibrocystic breasts that you suffer from. Hormonal changes can lead to breast changes. Now, this is one of the signs for me then was signs of ovulation in the years ago or during pregnancy, but this becomes the part and parcel for people that are suffering from estrogen dominance. Now, this tenderness can be painful and intense. The next one I'll talk about is fatigue. Persistent tiredness or low energy. We now know that energy is everything. Imagine having to run on low battery or low energy. Do you constantly feel tired? Even after a good night's sleep. I felt tired after a good night's sleep. It was a symptom I was not aware. Then let's talk about sleep issues. Insomnia or disrupted sleep patterns, which could include having difficulty falling asleep and then waking up too many times during the night or waking up too early. Even uninterrupted sleep. I suffered from all this. These are also symptoms of estrogen dominance. The next thing is headaches, especially around the time of your menstrual cycle. I suffered from this a lot for many years. I used to suffer from headaches, but I didn't realize that this was the cause of my constant headaches when I was going through them. The next thing I'll talk about is decreased libido. This means reduced interest in sexual activity. Now, this low sex drive can really affect some women's relationships. So it's very important that if this is one of the things you're suffering from, you need to seek help so that it doesn't affect your relationship. Now, let's talk about memory problems. We can suffer from difficulty in concentration or difficulty in concentrating and forgetfulness. So you see, when we experience this continuously, we sometimes don't put two and two together to say, or discern that this is actually the reason why I'm having this forgetfulness. The next thing I'm talking about is bloating. That feeling of fullness or excess gas. When you have that temporary big uncomfortable belly, that one experience, and I experienced this. I sure did. The next thing I'll talk about is thyroid dysfunction. Now, some women suddenly begin to experience thyroid issues which they didn't suffer from before. And they have the symptoms that resemble what, they begin to suffer from hypothyroidism. Now, hypothyroidism is caused when you have low or decreased thyroid function. So when you have estrogen dominance, it affects the thyroid gland. So that means the gland is not able to produce enough of the thyroid glands to do its work. Now, let's talk about hair loss. Thinning of the hair or increased shedding of hair. I even made things worse for myself by having weave-ons permanently and braids. So this even made it even worse. And I wasn't even aware that I was suffering from hair loss because of estrogen dominance. And I just kept making things worse. Dear executive, dear woman, dear precious businesswoman, If you suspect you have estrogen dominance, don't leave it lying low. It's important today that you consult a healthcare provider for proper assessment, which may include blood tests and then management. So once you've been assessed, once it's been, concluded that you're suffering from estrogen dominance, you can reach out to me for natural means of handling this estrogen dominance by lifestyle changes and dietary changes. And I will catch you next week in my next video. Have an exciting week.